In this video, we are going to talk about stock valuation. The first thing I want to talk about is the stock valuation formula. It is slide number 8. Why we use this formula to evaluate a stock. Now, the model, the method we are using is the dividend model. In other words, the value, the price of the stock is computed as the present value of all future dividends. Now, I want to talk about why. The common sense tells us that an investor who holds a stock will receive two future benefits. The first benefit is dividends. Companies will operate and will make profits, and the company will pay part of the profit back to the investor in the form of dividends. So that's the first form of benefit in the future. The second benefit is the future price at which the stock can be sold. So the investor can hold the stock for some time, receiving dividends, and then can sell the stock to get some of the money back. Now, so based on the common sense, we know the value of the stock, the price the investor is willing to pay today must depend on future dividends and also the future selling price. The example on slide number 8. Now, if we look at the example on slide number 8, now we have a investor who is holding one stock, IBM's stock. Now, assume we know the investor is going to hold the stock for 1 year, and during the 1 year, the IBM will pay a dividend $2.50, and then by the end of the first year, the stock of IBM will become $80. Now, what's the price the investor is going to pay? Now, this is very simple. We look at slide number 9. Now we can see the timeline. We want to do the valuation today. So the price, we want to compute the price today. Now imagine if the investor buys the stock by paying a price. The stock will bring in two benefits in the future. At the end of the first year, one cash flow is the $2.50 dividend. The second benefit is the $80 from selling the stock. So this investment is in effect an exchange of today's money, which is the price, for two future cash inflows. Now we know there is time value of money, so the amount that the investor needs to pay today must be the present value of the two cash flows. So that's the formula we have. So the price today equals the present value of the dividend plus the present value of the price. Now we compute the present value of the dividend. So today price is the $2.50, which is the dividend. Discount rate is 20%. So this is the PV of the dividend. In other words, the value of the first benefit today, which is $2.08. So that's the present value. The second benefit is the $80 from selling the stock at the end of the first year. The $80 is equivalent to this amount today, which the present value is $66.67. So the present value of the dividend is $2.08. So the $2.50 to be received in year 1 is equivalent to $2.08 today. and $80 to be received from selling the stock at the end of year 1 is the same as $66.67 today. Altogether, the price is $68.75. So this is the valuation. It is very easy to understand. Because most people understand by holding a stock, there will be two benefits. One is the dividends in the future. Second is the selling price. So the value today must depend on the two, the present value of the two. Now, the problem using in this valuation, or in other words, in this formula, is that we don't know the price. In practice, stock price is very difficult to estimate. So this method, even though it is very simple, in practice it is very difficult to use because we don't know exactly what is the future price. Now, dividends, on the other hand, are easy to estimate. Companies tend to maintain a very stable dividend payout policy. In other words, companies like to keep the dividend steady, stable. So between these two components, components of future benefits, dividend is relatively easy to estimate, while stock price is not. So in practice, to evaluate a stock, we have to come up with a way to get rid of the price. Now, how we can get rid of the price? Now we need to think one period further into the future. So this is slide number 7. Now, slide number 7. Suppose we in slide number 8, we want to ask why the stock can be sold for $80 at the end of year 1. So, what determines the price at the end of year 1? To answer that question, we can look one period into the future. The reason the stock can be sold for $80 at the end of year 1 is because in year 2, in the next year, the stock is going to pay some dividend, and the owner of the stock can sell the stock at the end of year 2. So because there are, again, two benefits to be received at the end of year 2, investors are willing to pay a price which is $80 at the end of year 1. So we have a one period valuation. We just use the same valuation relation, but apply it to year 2. Now, we can replace the price at the end of year 1 in this relation here in the formula on slide number 6. Now we come up with this relation. So this is the valuation of the stock in two periods. Now, if we compare the two formulas, for example, if we compare the valuation formula, one period valuation formula with this two period valuation formula, you can see a change. The change is that we replace the price at the end of year 1 with the present value of the dividend to be received in year 2 and the price of the stock at the end of year 2. Effectively, we are pushing this price to the end of year 2. Now we can keep doing that. For example, we can keep asking why the stock can be sold for some price at the end of year 2. That is because at the end of year 3, whoever holds the stock can receive a dividend, can sell it at a price. So the price at the end of year 2 is determined by the dividend at the end of year 3, price at the end of year 3, and we can continue. So eventually, if we keep replacing the last price with the next dividend and the next price, we can keep pushing the price further into the future, and we can add more and more dividends here. Now, if the price is pushed into very far future, then its present value is going to be 0, so we can ignore it. So in other words, in practice, to evaluate a stock, we only need to focus on the dividends. So the price of the stock is effectively the present value of all the future dividends. So this is the reason why we use this format to evaluate the stock. Now the next question is, even though we know the dividends are very stable, but in this formula, in order to use it, we have to compute the present value of many future dividends. So how we can simplify this relation? So that's our next topic. The assumptions commonly made to simplify this relation.